many things affect your life as much as slow traffic and bad weather? Listen tomorrow morning for Traffic and Weather Together every 10 minutes on the 9s on KSL News Radio.
Welcome back in. It's Cougar Nation. Mitch Harper, Matt Baiamonte. This show's for you, Cougar fans. 801-575-8255. You can chime in on the question of the day. Do you want a rematch against the Sun Devils, or you can just share any general thoughts from a tough defeat down in the desert? Let's get out to the phone line. Grant from Payson. What do you got for us tonight, Grant?
Hey, guys. I just wanted to kind of chime in. I don't know what the rest of the Cougar Nation's going to have to say. I just wanted to try and make sure we reframe and understand. I know that there's some scenarios, and it's more likely than not that we're going to kick off against Houston, and there's a good chance that we are playing for something, but there's a chance that we're not. And I think we just need to understand, and it's hard after going 9-0 to re-reframe your ideas of how the season is going to end, because we all pretty much all bought our tickets to Arlington. But I think it's important to understand the senior class has kind of laid the foundation after a tough first year in the Big 12 where we didn't even know if we were going to be competitive or not long term. That they've laid a foundation. We're not a doormat, and we're going to be competitive. We're not just going to be a tough out. We're going to compete for championships. And I just want to, hope that we all show up. I know it's going to be a packed house at LaVille Stadium, and it's going to be rowdy. I just want us to all, cheer on these seniors, cheer on this team, celebrate, regardless of other outcomes, and just take the season for what it is and hope that we can all rally around the team and the coaching staff going forward, get that Kalani extension I've been hoping for, and then, hopefully more than anything, get the boosters activated like they do for basketball, because I think the Arizona State game, as tough as it is, exposed a lot of the weak spots and the soft spots of our team that need to be shored up if we want to stay where we're at long term. And so that's what I really wanted to call in and talk about is hope that we, hope for the best case scenario, because it is, there's a good chance that we are playing for something, but we could not. And I think we all just need to, it's a tough way to lose, but I just want to hope that we have a positive outlook and regardless of outcome on Saturday, and we just all have a good time and support the team long term.
Thanks for the call, Grant. I appreciate that. I always like the, glass half full outlook, because honestly, I think there's a lot to like still about BYU football going forward. We were kind of talking before the show when we kind of had a way too early look at 2025, and you're going to lose a lot of guys, especially on the defensive line. That senior night class this Saturday, 20 players expected to be honored, and a lot of talent on the defensive line, but there's a lot returning next season. And if you can supplement that with that foundation of players that understand this culture that Kalani's built, pair that up with some key transfer impact players, maybe get a few freshmen that can come in and make a difference in year one, this could be another good football team next year. I think what's so difficult, though, is that as we see in the Big 12, more than any other conference in the power leagues, this one is so volatile where from year to year, you can't just assume like you're set. You're at the top of the hierarchy. And that's going to be the challenge for BYU going forward, to try to be in the spot. And look, they still got a chance to get to the Big 12 championship game. Not all is lost, but I think that you've kind of stumbled and missed an opportunity to make it clear that you are one of the best teams in college football. Because at 9-0, everything was in front of BYU. You're talking the number 3 seed in the playoff, and now you're really trying to find yourself again. And that's unfortunate because you felt like you'd already moved well past that and that you already had established who you were as a team. And Kalani noted last week that they wanted to find their identity at Arizona State, and that was a missed opportunity. But the future of BYU football is still in good hands. It's just you want to capitalize. When you get these moments, you got to deliver. And let's hope that BYU can have some things break their way and they can get to Arlington and get in that Big 12 title.
You don't get them as often as you think.
No.
Look at what happened to the team up the street from us here in Salt Lake City. They were the preseason favorites here. Felt like they were going to come in with an experienced group and run the league, and they're one of the worst teams in the league. And they've been snake-bitten by injuries, but it does not go the way you think it's always going to go. And I think two things can be true here, Mitch. We can all appreciate that this has been a really good season with the potential for more. Let's see what happens.
For sure.
If they don't get to the Big 12 championship game, I don't think you can call it a great season, but a really good high-end football season. But knowing that if you had at the very least, just won your home games, you'd be playing for a Big 12 championship. That is hard to swallow.
Well, what worries me is that BYU's nowhere near their best right now. They're struggling. They're regressing as they head into the final week of the season. If you played the way you did against, say, UCF a couple weeks ago against ASU, what can you say? Like, ASU just beat you. You played a great game, but you just got beat. That wasn't the case, though. Like, you didn't show up in the first half. And, it's been leaked out there, the audio, and we're not going to get into all that. But, of some of the halftime speeches and things like that, maybe that ignited, maybe that was the key that ignited the fire. I don't know. But the thing is that if you need that, like, what's the deal here? Like, you had everything in front of you, and you just came out flat.
Yeah.
That's not good. And that's not a good sign that this team is, built to go into a Big 12 title, whoever it may be, against Arizona State, Colorado, K-State, Iowa State. There's so many scenarios still that gives you confidence they're going to go into that spot and win. And I think, we had a question a few weeks back of, getting this national undefeated start. Does it worry you? Because I think all of Cougar fans, they have this syndrome where it's just, okay, we're having this amazing ride. When's the collapse going to happen? Look, I understand you, Cougar Nation. We hear you. We understand what it's like. And, look, I think BYU football's got better days ahead, but just you want to seize this opportunity. Again, hopefully they have a few things break their way to get, into Arlington and just 60 minutes away from potentially a college football playoff bid. Let's get back out to the phone line. Shep from West Jordan. You want to chime in about the predictability of the offense? Is that what you want to talk about, Shep?
Yeah, thanks for having me. I just want to hear your guys' comments on, there was an interview with the quarterback Levitt from ASU, and he said, I have a game plan. I know exactly what I'm going to do. I watched some film, and he laughed about it. I'm not going to tell you reporters about it, but I know how to attack this team and beat them. And so I guess my question to you all is I'm a season ticket holder. I sit up in the fans with my daughter, and I can sit there and they all line up. And he's talking about our defense,
sure.
But on our offense even, I tell my daughter, we are going to do this. And they do it exactly the way I call it out 15 seconds before the ball is snapped. Like, are we that predictable? And does there need to be a change with that? Those are the kind of problems deals that I have a problem with is, man, we just need to be, as the season progresses, if you're 9-0, you have to continue to innovate, change things up so we're not so predictable. I'd just love to hear your comments about that.
Thanks for the call, Shep. I do think there's an element of some predictability here, but as the season has gone along, at the end of the day, I don't want to get too coach speak here, but it's becoming clear to me the failures of the offense are on the players. There's good play calls being called, Mitch, during these last 3 games that aren't being executed. I could point to 5 plays in this Arizona State game where the right play was called and the players did not execute, and the play was there to be made. Good throws need to be had. Open holes for running backs. Running backs hit the correct holes. Catch the football. Jerry Solicitor's had a couple drops the last couple weeks. Catch the football. When the ball is delivered properly, JoJo Phillips had what would have been a nice 30-yard touchdown strike in that second half. Right through the hands. I don't know how you can't pin that on anyone but the players. And if the players are making plays consistently, I don't think we're even having this conversation because I think you're undefeated. There were that many plays left on the field. And with that being said, I do think at times the offense is too predictable. I don't like personnel packages and subbing all the time and looking at the analytics sheet to say we're at this point in the field, this is what the odds say, this is what we need to do. I wish there was a little more gut, a little more feel. But at the end of the day, the shortcomings of this offense have been lack of execution from the players.
On the defensive side, only 1 sack in the last 3 weeks, and that kind of makes me wonder, have they been figured out at times? Because, man, they started out so strong with creating the havoc, the sacks, the TFLs. The interceptions are still holding up. But, they're not getting home to these quarterbacks. And, look, Sam Levitt's a good quarterback, and they faced some good QBs this year, but that's been a little bit worrisome. I do think that, maybe you wonder, too, if the personnel just kind of hit its ceiling. Like, this is who they are, and it's part of that where they got to continue to improve that depth personnel-wise in building out this roster going forward. We'll get to more of your calls coming up next. News, traffic, and weather next. It's Cougar Nation here on KSL News Radio.